So today I'm going to give you something I've never given before, and that is what I would say is the perfect formula to actually be consistent with what you intend to do when you are building yourself. In the LGBTQ spaces, I don't see a lot of people actually talking about what are the things that we go through mentally, emotionally, spiritually growing up that might be the cause of all the things that then we encounter later on in life. Meaning, I don't see anyone talking about how we've been raised, how not aligned with our true selves we have been in the past, how much we had to detach from our bodies sometimes, if you had body dysphoria or dysmorphia, even like how much different kind of traumas we have been going through. Nobody's talking about this in the fitness space, in the health space. Then we wonder why a lot of people are not reaching the results they want to see, are not reaching the life they want. They're just in this constant hamster wheel of trying to figure it out, struggling, pushing themselves, wanting a change, falling back again, not being consistent, not finding the right strategies for themselves. One of the reasons is we go through life seeing, I have this problem and I need this kind of help. So we start detaching every single part of our body and every single aspect of our life, every single sphere of what makes us us, and go to one expert or one therapist, one psychologist, one personal trainer, one nutritionist, all these people. And we need their help because they have something we cannot figure out on our own. Makes complete sense. The mistake, I think, is that we become divided into these different things and we try to pursue different things with different people at different times or sometimes simultaneously, but nobody ever takes everything and makes you realize how all the things are attached to you as a whole, as a person. So nobody ever tells you, well, you're sleeping bad because you have racing thoughts because of these things that happened in the past, or how you're seeing your future, which then affects how you're gonna eat and the choices you're making food, which is then gonna be affecting again your mental health and the way you feel about moving or having energy, which then is connected to how much you work or feel inspired in your work, how many promotions you're gonna get, how many connections you're gonna make, which then affects it all back. And it's a loop. Nobody ever stops for a second and sees, I am trying to work on all the symptoms, but I'm not taking care of the root problem. So what I'm trying to push myself to do, what I'm trying to investigate, what I'm trying to put into place for myself, whether it's a new diet plan, whether it's a new therapy, whether it's taking care of my diagnosis, whether it's making my body look different, stronger, healthier, all these different parts, they are trying to cure, let's say, a symptom, but they're not approaching it as in, I am here to actually find the root cause of it all. And that for me has been the game changer in how I approach my life, but also how I'm helping my clients now shifting things for themselves. Whatever you want to achieve in life comes from a place of knowing yourself. And it goes back to ancient times, it goes back to the ancient Greek, right? Know thyself. It's a must. Everybody has the attention span that is getting lower and lower. We scroll on Instagram, we scroll on TikTok, we watch reels, we watch YouTube videos, right? You're here doing that exactly, and you get caught into other people's lives, other people's ways of being, solutions, quick fixes, trying to find the things that might work for you, but you kind of end up imitating other people, when in reality you should focus on finding out, on synthesizing everything that you see, being critical about everything that you are getting in, and then finding the ways that it works for you. You take this in, but because you don't trust yourself fully, you end up giving other people the responsibility of finding the right solutions for you. So you go again to the nutritionist, to the personal trainer, to the therapist, and these people are helping with their methods. But it's rarely that I see people getting out of those things the personal formula for them that they can apply, that they trust because they've built it based on what they believe is true. And yes, you need other people. I need other people to give me inputs, but then I need to develop skills of critical thinking, of implementation, on consistency to see what is actually working for me and what should I ditch, what is true to me, what makes me feel good, and what doesn't. What I see happening this year is quite strange to me, and I'm getting worried. The gyms are not as full as usual at the beginning of the year. I talk to people and they say I'm quite okay with where I'm at. I don't have big goals. And less people have this, I actually want to make things happen this year. I'm gonna find these new things. I'm gonna better myself. Which again, I'm not saying that you should have that imprinting at the beginning of the year only. And if you don't, it means you're not gonna achieve anything. But I'm seeing a tendency that people are trying to stay in the comfort zone, probably because of all the fear that we get from the media as well, of we're in a recession, things are getting harder, the world is burning. All of that might be true, but that reflects on people and I see it. So when I talk to people and I see them not wanting to stretch, not wanting to put some goals for themselves, I'm not saying you need to reach something that is tangible, that is like, oh, I want to reach that physique, or oh, I want to get to this amount of money earned, or I want to build this like a family, or I want to buy a house. I'm not talking about these huge goals, but my fear is that people are not stretching themselves, meaning they're not focused on their personal growth. They're not focused on how, like, find ways to build a life that they love living because they're scared of what their reality on, like, their external reality is telling them. And if you buy into that idea, the risk is there is no growth, there is no experience, there is no stretching, you are not fulfilled. So even if you might have success in what you're doing and you feel okay and you reached a lot of things, there might not be fulfillment. There is no purpose, there is no mission, there is no stretching. And setting goals to me is that goals are to grow, not to get. And I also see a lot of people dealing with uncertainty around how do I then keep consistent with those goals? Because if you don't trust yourself that you can find the right solutions for yourself, as we just talked about, and you don't trust that you can then be consistent with them because you have a history of not being consistent with the gym, or not being consistent with your nutrition, or not being consistent with your personal growth, whatever that means to you, the less you trust yourself, the less you're taking action because you don't want to disappoint yourself. So what I wanted to give people to make them stretch, to make them want to do more, to teach them consistency and make them see what to focus on to actually get to that level of consistency, to actually get to that level of productivity while living in an aligned way, while being in balance, really to have that energy that is sustained, that vitality, that growth that they are seeking, and that they can back it up with consistent daily actions. Again, it's small steps every day, how to make the steps that you know are going to help you consistent, aligned, balanced, but also that are pushing your limits to get you out of the comfort zone and into the zone of genius, a zone of fulfillment, something that is just that next level. I know this sounds a little bit like woo-woo or weird, or like super personal development kind of like stream of thoughts. I'm genuinely worried that like our community doesn't get that vitality, that energy, that strength that it needs to sustain what we're going through these years. And I want people to find their personal best, to find their personal success formula, to really build themselves, to be strong for themselves, resilient for themselves, but also for our community, also for our kids, our families, our loved ones. We need to stick together as a community. And it starts from the work you do on yourself. So you want to have focus on you first so that you can then pour into everybody else. And the goal for me is not to pour all into myself. I take myself seriously, but still playful. And I decided this year was a year of creativity, of integrity, of playing around or feeling more playful, of making more mistakes, on putting things out there, speaking my truth, whatever you want to call it. So here is why there is no fancy setup. There is just me talking to a camera and just wanted to put these ideas out there. If even just one person out there gets more inspired, gets something out of what I've put together, and I'm gonna link in the description, then I've done my job. Then today's video is gonna be helpful, and hopefully you stick around for more. Consider subscribing, consider following my social media if you wanna have more of this, or if you're curious, just connecting. That's it for today. Thank you for watching, and I wish you a good day.